Hello everyone, my name is Maddie, and this is my Marvel comic breakdown. Hey everybody, and welcome back to episode 16 of my breakdown series, where I break down 20 Marvel comics every episode. Today, we're diving into a mix of intriguing adventures, unexpected twists, and characters that you don't want to miss. Whether you're a seasoned comic book fan or new to the world of graphic storytelling, buckle up because this is quite a lineup. If you're new here, don't hesitate to subscribe, so you'll always be in the loop of what's coming up next. Now, without further ado, let's jump into it. The next comic is from the Marvel Mystery Comics number 21. It was released in May 1941. The next comic is titled The Weird Ghost of Amber Swamps. The author is unknown, but it was illustrated by Paul Gustafsson. Once buzzing with life, Shellcroft Mansion, tucked away in the South, has turned from a social hotspot to pretty much ghost central. Millionaire C.J. Miller calls this place home, but word on the street is it's haunted by the spooky ghost of Amber Swamps. One evening, as the sun dips and shadows lengthen, things take a darker turn. Norton, the mansion's butler, is found dead, as if killed by nothing. Enter the Angel. He isn't afraid of no ghosts. He's here to decode the mystery, and he's off to a rocky start, dodging a surprise attack just moments into his investigation. But he's got his eyes peeled, spotting a shady figure chilling out on the mansion's roof. Now inside, the Angel's got more problems. A lady's scream leads him to a reporter almost taking a fatal balcony dive. After a quick chat, they face the so-called ghost head on. Things get wild, with the Angel getting a run for his money. But the keen-eyed reporter drops a bombshell, pointing out a secret escape route the ghost uses. Following his hot lead, the Angel and his new ally are off to the mansion's dark and dingy cellar. But out of nowhere comes a bladed attack that give a fisherman casting envy. It's none other than Miller behind that ghostly charade, mask and all. Once busted, Miller tells all. Hosting all those swanky parties drained his bank, and now he's drowning in debt and desperation. So he cooked up this ghostly gig with a self-destructive endgame. But karma's got a funny way of coming back around. In the midst of a heated showdown, Miller's own weapon goes rogue and takes him out. This story ends with the Angel reflecting on the sad spiral of Miller's life, and our reporter still trying to wrap her head around the whole ghostly adventure they just went through. The tale masterfully dives deep into the psyche of a character driven to the edge by societal pressures and financial woes. Miller's transformation into the ghost of Amber Swamps highlights the lengths to which individuals might go when trapped in a corner, fueled by desperation. The story serves as a cautionary tale about the potential dangers of living beyond one's means, and the tragic consequences it might lead to. The next 8 comics are from the Marvel Mystery Comics number 22. They were all released in June 1941. The next comic is titled The Invasion of Alslavia. It was written and illustrated by Carl Burgos. Alslavia, a proud nation, is on the edge, facing the crushing might of Nazi Germany. Now, back in the Big Apple, the Human Torch and Toro get wind of this situation, and they know they have to help. Just as they're vibing, Capula and Salos from Alslavia pop in with a major SOS. They're like, you might be our last hope against this Nazi invasion. Money isn't on the table, but they promise endless gratitude, and honestly, who can resist that? Feeling the weight of it all, the two gear up and jet off to Alslavia. They land in Cornea, and the locals are very happy to see them. They're the heroes Alslavia needs, and they're ready to bring the heat. On the Alslavia-Heeland border, they sense something's off. No soldiers, no noise, just an eerie calm. They stumble upon a huge secret, a Nazi invasion wall. Flying over it, they quickly realize that this isn't going to be easy. And of course, the Nazis spot them and let loose a hail of bullets. But bullets against the Torch and Toro, they just melt them down, raining hot lead on the enemy. But the wall starts moving, and the two know that they have to level up. Torch hatches a plan with dynamite. They drill, they stick explosives, and that invasion wall is history. Over the sea, Toro clocks a German sub, and Torch's second sense tingles that it's a trap. They dive in, leading them to a massive underwater Nazi fortress. It's full of twists, turns, traps, and Nazis with fire extinguishers. As they navigate the fortress, they pick up on the enemy's wicked plan. Lure the Slavian navy in with the sub, and then surprise attack them with their hidden base. As they scramble to save the day, the Nazis catch them and slap them in an asbestos-covered cell. Clever, but not clever enough. Torch works some quick thinking, Toro melts them out, and now they're back in action. Then there's a showdown inside the fortress. Toro warns the fleet, and Torch brings the heat, causing a flood to sink the fortress, with the Nazis going down with their own ship. And when the smoke clears back in Alslavia, the Human Torch and Toro are hailed as legends. Massive cheers and endless gratitude. This comic captures the essence of the era, blending real-world anxieties of World War II with superhero fantasy. The Human Torch and Toro symbolize the hope and resilience of the underdog, reminding readers remembers that even in the face of overwhelming odds, determination can prevail. The Nazis, with their underwater fortress and cunning traps, embody the unexpected challenges one might face, emphasizing the need for teamwork, intelligence, and adaptability. At its core, this story celebrates heroism, underscoring the importance of standing up against oppression and evil. The next comic is titled Namor's Flying Bantam Car. It was written and illustrated by Bill Everett. So after handing some saboteurs, Namor makes his way to the Great Lakes region. Being the innovative prince he is, he creates his own unique vehicle after peeping the Army's mini field car. He's over here making DIY flying cars in the woods. But two onlookers, Paul and Wilhelm, spot his handiwork and report back to their boss, Kraus. They've got eyes on this vehicle for its fancy steam tech. A nighttime showdown goes down between Namor and these potential spies. Although they pulled a "we just wanted money" card, Namor isn't buying it, and he tells them to uncover their real plans. Soon, Namor's eavesdropping pays off when he overhears their convo about his beloved vehicle, the Bantam. But in a turn of events, two other goons, Fritz and Yosef, snatch his ride. Namor's mad chase ends with his car being stolen, and the bad guys have the upper hand. Fast forward, Namor's on a mission to Salt Lake City, trying to blend in and recover his invention. His undercover gig as a census taker becomes a total flop, but he spots his car, now the star attraction at a shady underground factory led by a dude named Her. Long story short, Namor breaks free, takes back the Bantam, and makes a wild escape. The state police are looped in, and a hidden Nazi factory is unveiled. This segment presents Namor in a more grounded, less underwater setting. It emphasizes his ingenuity and resourcefulness. The storyline incorporates elements of espionage and subterfuge, likely reflecting wartime sentiments and the paranoia surrounding foreign agents. Lastly, by featuring the innovative Bantam car, it showcases both the allure of advanced technology and the lengths adversaries will go to obtain it. The next comic is titled The Nazis' Death Gas. It was written and illustrated by Ben Thompson. The skies above Ka-Zar's African jungle homeland get darkened as Nazi planes release a deadly fog of poisonous gas. The greenery, the animals, all fading away. With this chaos unfolding, the Axis powers, led by this Italian big shot, roll in with their massive tanks. They're clearing out what's left and setting up their own space. We're talking an airbase, hangars, the whole shebang. To make things worse, they enslave the African locals, and anyone who stands up is met with brutality. But here comes Ka-Zar. Hearing about all this madness, he's not having it. As he inches closer to the Axis base, one sentry tries to take a shot at him, but he's too good. After handling the sentry, Ka-Zar throws on a Nazi uniform for a classic undercover move. Slipping through the base, he even manages to play messenger, delivering an oh-so-important message about controlling Central Africa. And he's laser focused on one mission, freeing those enslaved locals. But when he reaches the stockade, there's always that one guard. Ka-Zar doesn't have the password, so he takes the guard down. But this creates a whole new scene. Soldiers are alerted, and officers yelling shoot, and Ka-Zar is flipping, ducking, and diving, ending up inside a tank, and he knows how to start it. So now, with Ka-Zar in tank mode, he's about to give these soldiers a run for their money. This story segment dives deep into themes of resistance and empowerment, symbolized by Ka-Zar. It's clear that there's a portrayal of the dangers of unchecked power and expansion with the Axis intrusion into Africa. Ka-Zar's relentless spirit and determination to free his homeland acts as a beacon of hope and resistance against oppressors. It's also fascinating to see the blend of a jungle hero, traditionally isolated from modern warfare, thrown into a situation that directly confronts the atrocities of World War II. The next comic is titled The Mystery of the Phantom Killer. It was written by Ray Gill and illustrated by Bob Oskner. Terry and Deadline are just checking out the circus parade when they hear a damsel in distress. Terry saves this girl from these wild runaway horses, and Deadline is just wishing he had his camera to capture that iconic moment. A bit later, they get wind of some sketchy stuff going on. We're talking mysterious thefts and maybe even a murder. Now the police are convinced it's a suicide, but Terry doesn't believe that, and he thinks the police are missing their mark. Deciding they need some downtime, the boys head to the circus for the evening, but they're always on the case. Investigating a circus heist, Terry follows the lead and finds the culprit, but he's tossed into a lion's cage. Dr. Watson, the genius monkey, signals Deadline. Deadline swoops in, rescuing Terry, and with some backup from the boys in blue, they nab the thief. Bringing the police to the scene of the crime, Terry unveils the stolen jewels, but some dude tries to snatch them again. But Terry's girl from the very start enters the scene, helping to thwart the thief. Terry then connects the dots for everyone, explaining how the man and his sneaky monkey were behind the whole scheme. The cops end up giving props to Terry for cracking the case. The narrative takes a classic detective trope and adds a fun carnival twist, emphasizing the unpredictable and adventurous spirit of the circus. This juxtaposition highlights the unexpected dangers lurking behind the scenes of what's typically seen as pure entertainment. Terry's intuition, combined with the collaborative efforts of Deadline, Dr. Watson, and his girlfriend, underscore the importance of teamwork and trust in the face of danger. The introduction of trained animals as both saviors and accomplices presents an intriguing element, blurring the lines between innocence and mischief. The next comic is titled Tank Production Menaced. It was written by Ray Gill and illustrated by Art Gates. Jeff Mace, undercover in a tank factory where things have been going hella sideways recently. People are mysteriously dropping dead, and Patriot is on the case. Once inside, he stumbles upon a cryptic note that screams spy alert. Being the detective he is, Jeff gets on the tail of a shady worker, but it's a trap, and he's got the moves to take down this would-be killer. With his last breath, the worker drops a major hint: the Proving Grounds. Cut to the Proving Grounds, and it's an audio buffet. We've got army big shots and company elites chit-chatting about this swanky new tank. Then, out of the blue, an infiltrator jumps the scene, taking the tank for a little joyride. His goal is to test out its shiny new machine gun, but the tank rams into a factory wall. As the chaos unfolds, an inspector identifies this rogue driver as Schmitty, calling him out as a Nazi saboteur who's been slipping someone some green to hinder production. Jeff is already dialing up his connect, Casey. The narrative uses a backdrop of a tank factory to delve into themes of espionage and subterfuge during wartime, capturing the tension and paranoia of the era. Jeff Mace, the Patriot, exemplifies the relentless pursuit of truth as he navigates traps and deceit at every corner. The story seamlessly blends action-packed sequences with moments of mystery, underscoring the intricate dance between heroism and villainy. The revelation of Smitty and the implications of internal sabotage highlight the dangerous undercurrents of betrayal within familiar settings. The next comic is titled Dunkirk Incident. It was written by Stan Lee and illustrated by Harry Ramsey. This is a typed story. The Human Torch and Toro are hanging out, just reminiscent about the time they aided the British forces in Dunkirk. It's all hush-hush, of course. They teamed up with Prince Namor to take on the Nazi army, dealing some serious damage to the air and land forces. The plot takes us through an intense sequence where the trio takes on airplanes, tanks, and soldiers, leaving no Nazi threat unchallenged. And when Toro gets trapped in a glass tube filled with dynamite, because why not, the Torch comes through with the rescue. Finally, with the British fleet on the horizon, the heroes give each other a metaphorical pat on the back, acknowledging their success. But they know the fight against tyranny and injustice is never really over. They end the story with a little humor, claiming that nothing exciting ever happens to them. The intertwining of history and fiction creates a gripping narrative that emphasizes duty, bravery, and selflessness. The characters engage in thrilling action while maintaining their sense of humor and modesty, keeping their involvement a secret. This combination adds depth and relatability to their larger-than-life personas, making the story engaging and timeless. The next comic is titled Khor, the Black Sorcerer. It was written by Jack Kirby and Joe Simon and illustrated by Jack Kirby, Al Avison, and Howard Ferguson. A dark fog, straight out of a horror flick, emerges from the icy depths of Antarctica. The SS Olympus is gone, just like that. While most have lost hope, Vision isn't about to give up. On his quest, he stumbles upon the eerie Khor, the Black Sorcerer, and Khor is telling all. He's the culprit behind the ship's vanishing act, and the crew isn't coming back alive. After a mystical showdown, Vision is whisked away to this bizarre tropical land hidden within Antarctica, where time stands still. Khor drops his origin story. Banished from 13th century France for his not-so-nice magic tricks, he's been chilling in this timeless hideaway ever since. And Khor is planning to make Vision a permanent residence. That creepy fog is Khor's ticket to kidnapping people and adding them to his forced labor collection, with the SS Olympus crew featured front and center. But Khor thinks he's got the upper hand, shrinking Vision down to pocket size. But the hero's resilience shines. A steamy assist from a nearby pot powers him up, and he's back in action. With Khor tormenting his captives, Vision steps in. After an intense face-off, one punch from the Vision sends the evil sorcerer into some really hot water. With Khor out of the picture, Vision liberates the crew and promises brighter days. Their heartfelt thanks is met with Vision's humble departure amidst volcanic fumes, always on the lookout for the next adventure. This narrative plays with contrast, the icy backdrop of Antarctica juxtaposed with a tropical, timeless land, the palpable darkness of Khor versus the radiant light of Vision. It delves deep into the age-old battle of good versus evil, portraying Vision's unwavering spirit against overwhelming odds. The story underscores the dangers of unchecked power, as seen through Khor's descent into dark magic and his desperate attempts to defy time and mortality. Vision's commitment to rescue and righteousness demonstrates that even in the face of malevolent forces, hope and heroism can prevail. The next comic is titled The Revenge of Sphinx Henchel. The author is unknown, but it was illustrated by Al Gabriel, Al Avison, and Chu Heng. We're at Thurston Hospital where Dr. Henry T. Van Horn in knee-deep in a life-or-death operation on Judge Lind. Out of nowhere, a wild-eyed dude crashes the scene, causing total mayhem. Poor Judge Lind doesn't make it. The next day, headlines are ablaze. Judge Lind meets his end thanks to this mysterious intruder. Enter the Angel. He's got this sense that things aren't right, and this wasn't just a random act of chaos. Despite hitting a dead Dead end at the scene of the crime, a sneaky alleyway gives him his first real lead, some fresh footprints. And this isn't just your regular footwear. They're pointing straight to Sphinx Henchel, a big-time bad boy fresh out of jail. Following this trail, the Angel winds up in Henchel's lair and gets a front row seat to some seriously shady dealings. Underground canals and a kidnapped DA, Henchel plans to recreate his murderous masterpiece with the DA in the crosshairs. But the Angel is always one step ahead. Making his grand entrance, the Angel saves the day in a whirlwind of action, sending the bad boys packing. The DA, all gratitude and glee, offers a nod to the Angel's heroics, but in true hero style, the Angel is gone, like the wind, leaving just a wisp of mystery behind. This tale, dripping with New War vibes, is a classic whodunit, blending suspense with detective intrigue. Set against the backdrop of crime and mystery, it highlights the importance of tenacity, sharp instincts, and swift justice. The Angel's relentless pursuit of truth underscores the eternal battle between light and shadow, good and evil. At its heart, the story captures the fleeting nature of heroism, where sometimes a momentary act can leave an everlasting impact, forever remembered by those who witness it. The next 6 comics are from the U.S.A. Comics #1. They were all released in April 1941. The next comic is titled The Hideous Dame Kackle. The author is unknown, but it was illustrated by Charles Nicholas. A calm ferry ride suddenly turns chaotic when Dawn, Rusty, and Sally witness a potential murder. Without skipping a beat, they decide to hop aboard the mysterious schooner. They're met with major hostility. Now, Dame Kackle enters the scene, and she's pretty sus. She denies knowing anything, but the heroes aren't convinced. Fast forward, now in their defender and sidekick mode, are back at the docks. They uncover a shady transaction between Japanese men and sailors. Things heat up, and just when it looks like they're toast, an explosion happens. The heroes miraculously survive, but others weren't so lucky. As the story unfolds, Sally's got her own detective vibes going on, but finds herself in a sticky situation. While Dawn and Rusty uncover the truth about the smuggling operation, they also discover Sally's in a world of trouble. After an intense battle amidst a wild typhoon, they manage to save the day with a little unexpected help from the G-Men. Justice is served and illegal operations are shut down. Rusty, in all his youthful wit, wonders who the real heroes are behind the big bust. This story taps into the wartime narratives of the 1940s, integrating elements of espionage, heroics, and even a touch of humor. The Defender and Rusty symbolize hope and resilience amidst chaos. Dame Kackle is an archetype of the Nazi enemy, highlighting the societal fear of Nazi infiltration. Lastly, Rusty's innocent musing at the end give a light-hearted finish to an otherwise intense narrative, showcasing that youthful naivety that makes sidekick roles so memorable. The next comic is titled Origin of the Whizzer. The author is unknown, but it was illustrated by Al Avison. Dr. Emil Frank is in a tight spot with his son Bob, who's on the brink, suffering from a dangerous fever. Enter a snake, then a hero mongoose to the rescue. In a bold move, Emil uses the mongoose's blood to save Bob. But while Bob recovers, Emil's health declines. As he slips away, Emil shares the secret of Bob's new supercharged speed, coining the nickname Whizzer. But Bob's incredible speed isn't just for fun runs. Flashback to Grano, a sketchy character from their past, played dirty, causing Emil and Bob to flee to Africa in the first place. With his new powers, Bob's not about to let Grano slide. He zips back to New York, dons a rad costume, and faces off against Grano and his goons. And let me tell you, seeing Grano's moves look like they're basically in slow-mo against Whizzer's speed is everything. Whizzer drops some evidence, ensuring Grano's gonna be behind bars for a long time. And Bob has got that superhero switch game on point, moving between his everyday self and the speed demon, the Whizzer. This narrative taps into the old age theme of revenge and justice. The unique aspect here is the mongoose, a symbol of agility and speed, which serves as the catalyst for Bob's transformation. It's not just about the superpowers, but using them for a personal vendetta. Grano's deceitful actions emphasize the villain's fear tactics, and the Whizzer, while driven by vengeance, using his powers responsibly to bring justice. The duality in Bob's character between his normal self and his superhero identity serves as a reflection of the internal conflicts many of us face in choosing between personal desires and greater responsibilities. The next comic is titled The Spirits of Freedom. The author is unknown, but it was illustrated by Sid Shorts. An arsenal in Alton is hit with a massive explosion. Cut to John Liberty, the history professor protagonist. This dude gets a wake-up call and, in an unexpected twist, summons some spirit buddies from America's past. Before you know it, he's rolling with Paul Revere, trying to put a stop to some nefarious plans at the arsenal. These sneaky spies have rigged up a whole remote-controlled powerhouse to blow the place sky high. But with some ghostly backup, including Ethan Allen and his crew, John John Liberty is ready to thwart their plans. Think invisible barriers, ghost punches, and a lot of bewildered bad guys. Now, the baddies are psyched to see the U.S. Army roll up, but it's just the Boy Scouts. But with John and our spirited patriots, these scouts help wrap things up. And as the dust settles, we get the feeling this is only the beginning of Mr. Liberty. This story brings together themes of patriotism and supernatural forces, suggesting that the spirit of America's past can guide and protect its future. The unexpected inclusion of the Boy Scouts serves as a metaphor for the power of the youth and the unexpected heroes that can emerge from any corner of society. Above all, John Liberty's transformation underscores the narrative that when faced with adversity, even ordinary individuals can rise to become extraordinary defenders of justice. The next comic is titled The Tunnel That Led to Death. It was written by Basil Wolverton and illustrated by Basil Wolverton and Charles Nicholas. J.J. Gallings, a regular building contractor, gets roped into a sneaky project by the not-so-chill Roffler. The mission is a secret tunnel from Roffler's basement that leads directly under an airplane factory, and Roffler gets his bud Ivan to throw a bomb at the workers to keep them quiet. But what Roffler doesn't know is that Rockman, an OG from the underground world of Abysma, has his eyes on him. This dude's got a crazy tool called the Vibrograph that's like CCTV for all things shady. Rockman rallies his squad in Abysmia and rolls out in this epic rock-burrowing machine straight to Roffler's basement. But instead of a welcome mat, he's met with an explosive situation. Rockman uses his sick skills to flood the tunnel, giving Roffler a taste of karma. While Roffler ditches Ivan in a desperate escape attempt, Rockman schools him with some nature power, unleashing a tidal wave that says game over for Roffler. After his epic save, Rockman peeps the world above, and he's just like, what's going on up here? This tale dives deep into the realms of morality and justice, juxtaposing the secretive, dark underworld of human corruption with the pure, protective intentions of an otherworldly force. Rockman, emerging from a hidden society, represents a guardian figure, emphasizing the narrative that true defenders might come from the most unexpected places. The story serves as both a thrilling adventure and a reflection on human nature, and its capacity for both good and evil. The next comic is titled The Coming of the Young Avenger. The author is unknown, but it was illustrated by Howard Purcell. Bill Bryan, just your regular youngster by day, but when the moon takes center stage, he transforms into the Young Avenger, armed with a mission and the drive to protect his homeland. Across town, tucked away in a grand New York estate, Eric von Himmel concocts devious plans to wipe out American industries, and he starts with a big bang, taking down Winton Aviation Works in a fiery explosion. Riding high on that sabotage success, von Himmel sets his sights on Bowling Works. But little does he know, Destiny has other plans. Bill Bryan's sleep is cut short when a mysterious voice tells him about the villain's next move. The Young Avenger gets to work. Quick thinking, a dash of strategy, and some sleek moves later, the spies are stopped in their tracks. Following a lead, our hero zeroes in on von Himmel's lair, but things don't exactly go according to plan. Captured and facing his arch nemesis, Young Avenger isn't backing down. His jaw-dropping strength comes in handy here when he decides to flex and break free, leaving the enemy in disarray. The climax is a demolished fortress, a foiled escape, and a sense of a looming rematch. But for now, Bill races against dawn, slipping back into the comfort of his home, leaving the drama and adrenaline of the night behind. Waking up fresh, Bill Bryan is all smiles, leaving his mom and the rest of the world clueless about his nocturnal escapades. This story follows the classic superhero arc, touching on the elements of dual identities, a formidable villain, and high-stakes confrontations. The Young Avenger embodies the quintessential young hero, armed with courage and a sense of duty, while von Himmel is crafted as the perfect counter, methodical and menacing. The interplay of suspense, action, and the return to normalcy showcases the perpetual struggle and sacrifice of superhero life. The narrative leaves the door open for future confrontations, ensuring readers will be back for more. The next comic is titled The Origin of Jack Frost. The author and artist are unknown. Deep in the untouched, icy realms of the far north, King of the Cold, Jack Frost is just hanging out. Life's cold and silent, until one day, out of the blue, Dr. Forbes stumbles in, wounded and frantic. Turns out Dr. Forbes hit gold, but greed took a dark turn when Mike Zelby got trigger-happy. With his dying breath, Forbes spills a tale of theft, danger, and a daughter in peril. And Jack is ready to bring the cold to the Big Apple. New York City isn't ready for this frosty vigilante. While the city's top brass, Commissioner Bryan and Detective Jenkins, are baffled by Zelby's wicked moves, in pops Jack Frost. With icy prowess, Jack's ready to serve cold justice. Despite Jack's frigid demos, the NYPD aren't feeling his vibe. Instead, they slap him with a wanted tag. Hidden in the shadows, Jack tracks down Zelby's crib, and Alice Forbes isn't having any of Zelby's nonsense. But when Jack steps in, things heat up, or cooldown, I guess. A showdown ensues. While Jack's busy showing off his chill factor, Selby plays dirty with fire. But with Alice's plea for justice, things take an unexpected twist. In a world where he's both hero and potential threat, Jack leaves a frosty promise. He'll be back. This tale is an exquisite blend of myth, supernatural elements, and modern-day dilemmas. At its core, it grapples with the concept of misunderstood heroism. Jack Frost embodies a deity-like figure trying to navigate the complexities of the human world. The narrative underscores the tension between law and justice, as Jack's supernatural interventions are seen with suspicion and fear, reflecting society's apprehension towards the unknown. The story sets the stage for a prolonged conflict, showing that even in a world of magic, understanding and trust are hard-won. It's a chilly reminder that perceptions can freeze intentions. The next 5 comics are from the Captain America comics number 5. They were all released in May 1941. The next comic is titled The Ringmaster of Death. It was written and illustrated by Jack Kirby and Joe Simon. Steve Rogers and his buddy Bucky are just taking in a circus show, but trouble's always lurking. Enter the Ringmaster of Crime, serving some real villain vibes. He's got this freaky wheel of death, and General Blaine's the unlucky star of the night. As the crowds gasp, a tiger goes wild, jumping straight at General Blaine, and Steve's like, "Bucky, it's go time." He wrestles the tiger, but Blaine's dead. And as the clues pile up, the duo suspect the Ringmaster's behind this. Next up, Betty Ross swoops in. But as she digs deeper, the circus crew's got another sinister move. With snake charmers and cobras, the stakes get high. But when Betty gets captured, Cap and Bucky are all in for the rescue. Fights, elephants, monsters, total pandemonium. There's also an epic trapeze save pulled off by Bucky. Cap faces down the Ringmaster, taking him out in an epic showdown, while Bucky's got the circus tent tactics on lock. As the dust settles and the baddies are cuffed, Betty's left wondering about her mysterious heroes. This plot's a wild ride, blending the vibrant backdrop of a circus with Captain America's unwavering sense of justice. The story navigates themes of trust, manipulation, and bravery. What's cool is how it taps into the dual personas of the heroes, both in their superhero get-ups and in their everyday lives. The Ringmaster serves as a stark contrast to Cap, using deception and threats to control. It's all about choices, right? When faced with danger, do we bow down to fear, or do we rise up with courage? Also, major shout out to Bucky, a true sidekick, having Cap's back at every twist and turn. This tale serves up a mix of intrigue, suspense, and classic superhero action. It's Golden Age comic magic. The next comic is titled The Gruesome Secret of the Dragon of Death. It was written and illustrated by Jack Kirby and Joe Simon. Steve Rogers gets trapped by General Haywood to debunk this crazy sea dragon rumor off Hawaii. But things go from 0 to 100 real quick when the patrol boat Winifred disappears, and now it's all anyone can talk about. Steve, Bucky, and the General fly over to Kuona Island and get hit with the news. Commander Phillips from the missing ship might have been the sea dragon's latest snack, but Steve's got this vibe going on, thinking that there's more to this dragon tale. And he's right. Turns out Phillips is being held beneath the Pacific. Some enemy agents have some wild plans to blow up a volcano to trap the U.S. Pacific Fleet. They need Phillips's password for their explosives, and they aren't above using his daughter, Marie, to get it. Enter Captain America and Bucky. They see Marie getting kidnapped and end up uncovering this massive submarine disguised as a dragon. The duo finds Phillips, the missing ship, and a very distressed Marie. Now, Captain America and Bucky have to stop a volcanic eruption, save the fleet, and rescue Marie. Cap does his thing, the barge goes boom. Bucky has a depressive episode when he thinks Cap is dead, but he ends up being alive and good. And Marie's safe. And to wrap it up, General Haywood's out here throwing shade, saying the duo is going to be kept on their toes. This comic showcases Steve's intuition and determination to uncover the truth. The storyline also takes a thrilling ride with unexpected twists, highlighting Captain America and Bucky's unwavering commitment to justice, and their synergy as a team. The Sea Dragon as a massive submarine is a brilliant metaphor, showcasing that things aren't always as they seem, and sometimes the truth lies beneath the surface. The next comic is titled Killers of the Bund. It was written and illustrated by Jack Kirby and Joe Simon. So there's chaos in the U.S. with these fifth columnists trying to make everyone join their not-so-fun Nazi club. Captain America and Bucky obviously aren't about that life. One evening, Heinrich Schmidt gets an unfriendly visit from these dudes, and they're all like, join us or else, but Schmidt is Team USA all the way through, and after declining, they jump him. Enter Bucky and Schmidt's son, Bob, who spots some sus activity at the Schmidt house. They find Schmidt all banged up and rush to the hospital. Steve and Bucky get the details from Bob. It was the Nazis, and they're not happy with Schmidt's loyalty to the U.S. Cap and Bucky are fuming. They hit up the Nazi camp that night, and let's just say Cap's shield does more than just look cool. But Steve gets caught and is about to be a sitting duck for Nazi target practice, but he ends up getting himself out of it. With some aerial acrobatics and serious fist action, he stops a potential gas attack on the city. By the time he gets back, Bucky's got the intel. There's a raid coming. But with Cap on the scene, those Nazis bounce. The next day, the Schmidts visit Steve and Bucky, giving a big thanks. and Bob wishes he could thank Captain America in person. Steve's all cheeky, like, I think he knows. This storyline taps into the tension of the era, emphasizing the importance of loyalty and standing against tyranny. Through Captain America and Bucky, we see a representation of bravery and the American spirit. The bond between Captain America and the community, as shown through the Schmidt family, embodies the interconnectedness of society and heroes, making it clear that unity can overcome adversity. The next story is titled Captain America and the Ruby Robbers. It was written by Stan Lee and illustrated by Jack Kirby and Joe Simon. This is a typed story. So we've got Jerry Briggs and Bucky Barnes just chilling and hyping up their favorite hero, Captain America. Jerry's dad has a $25,000 ruby to look after, but he's also got some serious doubts about Cap's existence. Like, he's calling it total nonsense. But Jerry's holding firm, believing in his hero. Two thieves are on the lookout for that precious ruby, and they make their move. But little do they know, Captain America and Bucky are ready and waiting. Cue a killer action scene where the heroes take down the crooks, recover the ruby, and serve up some justice. Mr. Briggs is all apologetic for doubting Cap, but the hero himself is like, no worries, as long as there's crime and injustice, I'll be here. This story hits hard on themes of belief, heroism, and the power of ideals. It's not just about a physical hero, but what Captain America symbolizes, the unwavering fight for justice, and the belief that one person can make a difference. It's like a pat on the back to all those who never stop believing in the good fight. The next comic is titled The Terror That Was the Devil's Island. It was written and illustrated by Jack Kirby and Joe Simon. We start with Peppo LaRock, the shady overseer of a prison that's giving off major worse than Devil's Island vibes. When Steve and Bucky roll up, it's all in the name of visiting their friend Tom Jason. Tom was all about flying for France, but then he got captured by the Germans, and LaRock isn't a fan. He labels Tom as an enemy of the so-called New France. And when the boys lay eyes on Tom, it's pretty clear that he's been through the ringer. But under LaRock's super creepy, watchful eye, Tom denies any hardship. After a suspiciously short visit, LaRock's ushering Steve and Bucky out. He offers them a hut to crash in until the next boat out. But the boys, seeing Tom's condition, aren't about to just chill. Nighttime hits and they're sneaking into that prison, and they find Tom being tortured. Things heat up when Captain America gets trapped in a shark pit, but with some quick thinking and mad skills, he manages to escape. And just when you think things might cool down, Peppo's still trying to feed them to the sharks. But Steve isn't having it, steps in, and shuts that whole plan down. Long story short, Cap and Bucky bust Tom out, and we find out Tom's planning on flying for Greece to keep up the good fight for democracy. Flash forward a few weeks, and the duo stumble upon a headline. An American pilot in Greece is causing major headaches for the Nazis. It's Tom, doing his thing, and scaring the daylights out of the enemy. This is a wild ride, and it's more than just action-packed. It touches on themes of resilience, sacrifice, and standing up against oppression. The stark contrast between Peppo LaRock's twisted idea of loyalty and Tom Jason's silent suffering speaks volumes. And once again, Captain America and Bucky's unyielding spirit reminds us of the lengths one can go for a friend and a just cause. Also, it's a testament to how the bonds of friendship and shared purpose can push individuals to defy odds, fight back against oppressors, and rise as unexpected heroes in the most dire of circumstances. This comic segment truly delivers both in action and depth. And that's the end for episode 16. I hope you enjoyed our journey through these amazing tales. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that like button, and if you have any thoughts or suggestions, drop a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you the next time with another fresh batch of comic breakdowns. Until next time, stay curious, keep reading, and remember, every page turn is a new adventure waiting to unfold. Catch you all in the next one.